Good morning. It's 8:10 on Friday. I guess day 2 of the Woods Hole weekend. Slept pretty good last night. It definitely dipped down colder than I thought it would be. Um, it's definitely less than 50 degrees here. It's probably in the 40s. It's humid as well, just like the dampness in the air. So I was not expecting that. So I was actually cold in my bag, probably starting around 4 o'clock. I woke up, I was cold, and I couldn't keep myself totally warm. Anything that touched the outside of the sleeping bag felt very cold. So tonight's supposed to be even colder, and Saturday night is supposed to dip into the 30s. So I'm definitely going to have to plan on probably wearing my fleece or even a jacket to go to bed, and I'll keep my pants on and wear pants and not shorts. I tried even the little booties. My feet still felt cold in them. I had those down booties for my feet I've been trying out. I wore my Montbell jacket this morning for the first time. Felt pretty good with the hood. I liked it because I did not bring a hat. I brought a buff hat, but I did not bring an actual hat to keep warm. So that was a mistake. Finally, at about 6:30, I got out of the tent because the bladder went out. It had been 10 and a half hours or so since I had gone in since I'd gone to the bathroom about 8 o'clock. So the bladder was talking to me. And other than that, good night. Didn't have any breakfast. I'm going to eat some cold stuff while we walk probably. There may be some stuff at the hostel. I was told if you want to buy some snacks or some coffee or something, which I'll see. We're going to drive to the other hostel, I believe, from there. So I'll have time if I want to stop and probably grab something. I definitely want to get a drink. I'd like to get a Gatorade bottle to keep in my tent at night. And we'll go from there. It's 8:30 and we're finally getting started to head back toward the hostel. Looking forward to it so I can get a little warm from hiking. It's quite chilly still. Just crossed the road and now we're going to go back over the bridge. I'm sure come along with us. It's Pony in the lead. I'm trying to keep up with him. And that's the bridge. So it's about 9:50. We made it back to the Weary Feet Hostel. Took about an hour and 20 minutes to get here. And we're heading back up. It's 11 o'clock. We just left Weary Feet Hostel and we're driving to Woods Hole, where we'll be staying for the rest of the weekend. Basically the next 2.5 to 3 days. So it's about a 45-minute drive or so. But just beautiful rolling hills. Welcome to Virginia. So we made it to Woods Hole, and I'm up here in the bunkhouse. I thought I was going to be camping, but I guess they're putting me in the bunkhouse. There's going to be other hikers here tonight, so it'll be pretty busy, these things. This is going to be my bunk. I picked the first one. Right next to the heater. It's supposed to get really cold, so myself and one of the other participants are going to pick these two first. I guess the upper bunks in the loft are better. They get less use, so Other than that, let me turn you around and show what the bunkhouse looks like. So, turn around slow. Basically 9 people can sleep up here, and there's more stuff downstairs, but pretty cozy and well done, so good on that. And that's it. I'm gonna go downstairs, mix with everyone else, find a restroom, and then I guess we'll be eating together shortly. This is the downstairs of the bunkhouse. A little thing, trail leading outside. Map they want people to put in where they're from. There's 4 more bunks on this side. It's really kind of cozy. And there's a little table and some games and books. And I guess garbage, recyclable stuff. Here's the place. Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful property. Okay, so this is the shower area and the toilet and laundry all in one. They have loaner clothes here. A couch for when you're waiting. Washer, dryer. Here's 1 toilet. 2 showers with a sign to be courteous, limited to 5 minutes. And another toilet. And a sink. So you got everything you need here. And that is an old outhouse, but it is no longer an outhouse. It is a resupply closet, as was just explained to me. So I'm gonna see what's in here. Oh, okay. So here's, if you need food or anything, it's on the honor system, then you let them know what you took, I guess, and you take what you need, resupply. Very good way of, good efficient system, obviously. And then I don't know what those structures are, and then I guess some tent camping up there where some of the instructors are staying as well. I don't know how I lucked out in the bunkhouse, but with cold weather coming, I'm sure going to appreciate it. So I'm here now, and I've been told that I need to come out here. Oh, a nice hammock. That might be the only hammock I'm in this weekend. Probably not. I'm actually looking forward to learning a little more about the hammocks. But the view that I have right now of the valley, supposedly that is where the sun comes up in the morning and the sky lights up. So it looks like tomorrow I'm going to try and get up early, around 6:30 or so, and see and record the sunrise. Should be great. I got to remember to get my tripod or my Osmo out of the car, so I have a gimbal. That's the name of it, gimbal, so that I can have a nice stable shot. But this is the bottom of the bunkhouse, and you can see some of the people are lounging on the porch as we all gather, and they just have this nice, different, eclectic, different things, and very convenient. Obviously, I already showed in here, but I just realized now there's a fridge in here with some snacks, and you can write down what you take. Everything's on the honor system, and very common with hikers. So that's the way it is. Pellet stove in here, I guess, to warm the place up, because it's going to get chilly tonight. And supposedly this place is going to be full tonight with hikers because of the cold weather that's coming. So a lot of people are getting off the trail and coming in here. So it should be interesting. Turn around so you can see me. Yes, it's me. And it's a well-known historic place, Woods Hole. It's been around, I think, since the 80s. I saw a sign, 80, oh, there it is, 86. Opened Woods Hole in 1986. And it's still going, so pretty nice. Check in again later. After hiking back to the Weary Feet Hostel, we had lunch. And to say we had lunch doesn't do it justice. There was a lot of food and it was good. I did skip dessert, however. I was also able to get a Gatorade bottle at the hostel, so I didn't have to stop on the way there. After we left the Weary Feet Hostel, we drove to the Woods Hole Hostel. It was about a 40-minute drive through the mountainous, winding roads. I followed the other participants that I could keep up with, had trouble keeping up with them on the winding roads. And eventually we arrived there. I was able to park my car where I met Neville, the owner of the hostel, along with a couple of other people that had not joined us for the hiking, but were joining us for the rest of the weekend. And in meeting Neville, she's the current owner and operator of the hostel, which her grandparents started in 1986. So it's one of the oldest hostels on the AT. It's also another place that if you stay there, you definitely will not go hungry. Upon arriving at the Woods Hole Hostel, Neville advised me that I would be staying in the bunkhouse. And I think I mentioned that in one of the other videos that was a possibility. I was actually prepared to stay in my tent. However, I was actually kind of glad because it would give me an opportunity to experience a bunkhouse at a hostel with other people. And it would also give me a chance to keep, I think, a little warmer because the temperatures were predicted to go very cold that day and over the weekend. And it would keep me out of the wind. So I set off to the bunkhouse, picked out a bunk because it was fairly empty at that time. We were there earlier than most other people. And it gave me some time to go exploring, which you saw the video that I shot, which I did during that time. At that point, we all met up. All the participants of the Woods Hole weekend met. We did the introductions again, and then we got down to the classes. As I mentioned, we had several new participants, people that had decided to join us for the weekend, but had not gone camping with us. The presenters also introduced themselves as well, and then each person went over a little bit about their plans, if they had any, for the AT, and whether they were going to hike, they were thinking of a through hike, section hiking, or were not sure. After that, we had the first talk or session of the weekend. And this was the one that I seem to always be most interested in, gravitate toward. And it was mental preparation for the trail. This is mostly what I expected. However, there were some things that I did hear and learn because of all the different aspects of between the several different presenters and even the other participants that made me think about things in a different way. So in discussing the mental aspects of a through hike, it was more or less what I expected and a lot of stuff that I heard before, but there was also some stuff I had not heard before. Each one of the presenters told their story and had a different take on the mental aspect as they saw it, what worked for them, and things that they used personally to complete the trail. Several of them also felt things that they thought were a negative, mental aspect, or things that had not worked for them, or things that they had noticed in other hikers that seemed to be a problem or led those people to maybe get off the trail. So I found that actually very useful. After the mental aspects, we discussed the physical aspect, or preparing for the trail, physical preparation for the trail. What did some of these people do, and some of them, what did they not do? Or a lot of them had no preparation or very little preparation. Some of them had prepared a lot, and it runs the gamut of those things. Some had done a little bit, but really none, or maybe one or two shakedowns. So it was interesting. Also, some of the presenters asked the participants what they were doing to prepare, and several people discussed what their preparations in getting ready for the trail were like, or were going to be like. It was interesting to see what a lively debate this caused because of the opposing views of prepping versus not prepping, if you can actually even prepare for an event like this, Very frequently we mention the best way to get in shape for hiking is to go hiking. Well, in some places, or for some people, that's just not happening. So it was very interesting to see the two schools of thoughts and how the people were, in fact, defending their position with each other. But in the end, I think the idea of preparing and also slow starting your mileage and building up as you get in better shape seemed to be the most common or win out over the no prep. And obviously, nobody's going to say, if you're not in shape, to push hard miles. We then had a wonderful dinner put on by Neville and her staff. And then we had a talk after that, which was stuff happens. You can substitute your own word for that. And in that, we learned the importance of having flexibility in your planning for the trail. And then frequently what you plan for is not what's going to happen, and what can go wrong will. And nearly everybody had a story, if not several stories, because obviously in a several-month hike, things are not going to go as planned. And that was very common, that things didn't go as planned or as worked out, and you have to be flexible and adapt in your planning. I think I'm pretty good in that department, so I wasn't too worried about that. But it was fun to hear their stories and things that had gone wrong for them, and how sometimes, even though things go wrong, they turn out okay. After that talk, we stopped for the night and we had a little downtime, and it allowed us to do some personal things. Some people took showers, some people just read. I was able to meet and greet a couple of other hikers and just observe other hikers in the hostel and their interactions with other people. And that was good for me and nice to do. Obviously, most people were still talking about hiking and the trail and things like that. I found it interesting that I was able to meet through hikers. These were actual through hikers. They were southbounders that were out on the trail hiking, and see a little bit about their experience and what they're doing. Surprisingly, even though I do hiking, I have not run across a lot of through hikers. Most of the time I meet a through hiker or hiker, it's on the trail at maybe a intersection, or just walking past them, or at a shelter, but we don't spend a lot of time because we're each looking to get mileage done. So I've never really spent a lot of time with through hikers before to ask them a little bit about how their hike is going, what their thoughts of the trail are, and things like that. So this time to me was really important in the fact that I was able to gain a little more insight into that. And at the end of the weekend, I think I walked away with a greater appreciation for someone doing a hike. So between this night and the next night, I got to observe a lot of hikers. And the next night, especially Saturday night, there were a lot of them because the place was packed. And it also allowed me to interact with them on a different level, because I was able to see how they interacted with each other. And that was very insightful to me. One of the biggest observations I met is that the majority of the people that were out there hiking and that I came across were all basically college level, I would say college age or less. There weren't too many people that didn't fit that demographic. There were very few. And as far as I can remember, out of all those hikers I ran into, there was only 5 of them that were not in that demographic. 2 of them were just a little bit older, late 20-somethings, maybe young 30. And one of the other hikers was an adult that was hiking with his son, who was in that demographic. So it was pretty obvious that they were mostly a very young crowd. After this, I settled into my bunk to try and keep warm as the night was getting cold, and just recounting everything that was going on in the day, in the last couple of days, and how lucky and blessed I was to be able to do this experience. I remember feeling very thankful that I was in a warm place and out of the wind and out of the cold. I was thankful to be sharing this weekend with other hikers who are like-minded like me. And as I frequently say, to live in a great country where not only are there trails, but I'm free to explore them, to hike them, and there are people that give of themselves to help maintain them and support them.
I was so grateful that I had good food to eat and I was full. And lastly, I was thinking how fortunate and blessed I am to have a great family that is supportive and enthusiastically encourages me to go out and do these activities and enjoy myself while hiking. That night, there was a hiker in a bunk near me who actually left the top level of the bunkhouse, went downstairs, and actually slept outside on a couch in the cold weather. I don't know if the snoring of the person that was in between us had anything to do with that. It may have. I know I contemplated it even at one point, and I was wondering if I was going to get any sleep. But it would just surprise me how this person had the opportunity to sleep in a warm bed and still chose to walk outside, sleep in his sleeping bag on a couch. Just as testament to people and how much they love being outside. And most of all, to be so truly blessed to have a supportive family that lets me go out